Welcome to day one of the 5-day challenge for high impact teams in 2024. If you haven't yet subscribed or joined the Slack channel, you can find the links below. In the next 5 days, I will give you 5 15-minute activities to boost your team practices in 2024 and achieve superior results. Today, we will discuss in particular the first struggle product people have when trying to improve their ways of working, where to start. I have found 3 common pitfalls, at least. The first one, by far the most typical one, is that we start from a particular practice or framework that we want to improve. We need to do jobs to be done. Okay, but why? How does it fit with the rest of our process? What we want to achieve? The second one is trying to run before we walk, working on a practice that is far ahead of the current challenges of the team, like trying to do rapid experimentation before we have a proper product KPI dashboard. And the third one is trying to start everything at once. We find multiple things to improve, we start everything, and we lose focus and we lose impact on the practice change. At the end of the day, the question we want to ask is this the most impactful thing to invest in to improve? As product people, we are familiar with this question. It's all about priority. And to answer it, we must assess the key areas with more potential benefit for the team to improve. So the problem is, what exactly do we need to assess? And how do we assess it? There is no standardized or agreed upon way to do this type of assessment. As experienced product people, we will be tempted to simply use our judgment. I know what needs improvement, but our brain is usually biased by the most recent problem we face, or a practice that is shiny and endorsed in the community, or what is being more painful for you at the moment instead of what will be more beneficial for the company. That is why you cannot rely on what you think. And to achieve high impact teams, you must go beyond your own perception of the current situation and collect evidence that can help you create a complete and realistic picture. At Product Direction, we develop an assessment with over 100 areas to analyze. And the goal is to be able to form this holistic view. Each of these areas has guiding questions and recommendations on what type of evidence you can analyze to get a realistic and unbiased answer. So how does this fit to our first step and what we're going to do today? By having a holistic and evidence-based assessment, we will be able to create plans oriented to solve the most critical areas for growth in our team, ensuring that we achieve superior impact in 2024. So to fulfill our 15-minute challenge today, I will provide 3 options to analyze one part of your product team or organization. And you can do 1 or 3 of them. And keep in mind that, of course, you can also change and tweak what you need to make it fit to your organization. So now I'll share my screen so we can review the task for today. And as you can see, this is an assessment spreadsheet that you can copy, and I will give that more on that in a second, and complete the value column here. And if you feel bold enough, you can also complete the evidence and the notes. But essentially, what we will do is go through these potentially 3 areas, or you can pick one. And I selected 3 in particular that are at very different maturity levels. So each one of you can feel reflected in one of those. But essentially, you can see here that we have an area, the type of practice we are assessing in that area, and some concepts that we want to assess for that practice and area. And we have guiding questions and the type of evidence you may want to look for when assessing this particular concept. So let's start with the first one, optimization. And for optimization, one of the things that we want to check is that if the team is gathering constantly opportunities for optimization. So for example, we want to know if the team has a proper product metrics dashboard. So everyone in the organization is able to access and monitor the key metrics of the product with appropriate level of detail. And of course, for evidence in this case, we want to see this dashboard exists. So we want to have either a link or screenshot or however you feel comfortable providing to see that, yeah, this exists and has this level of these qualities that we are expecting. The second one, for example, in this case is regular KPI reviews. So is there a ceremony or similar meeting in which the team joins to discuss KPIs and visualize progress or potential problems? The third one is a growth model. Is the team has identified the dynamics of the product model and how the growth engine works. Of course, again, this will be an artifact that we're expecting. So we have some, it's not that people will say in their heads that they have it. This exists somewhere. The fourth one is slice and dice. So can we go through the metrics and find different analysis based on how we want to slice data? And finally, we want to have also a continuous analytics refinement in place in which we go through the metrics and see how we can improve how we are measuring our product. Moving on, so this is the first one. Again, as I was saying, you can have here the questions and the evidence, and you will put the values of the evidence here. If you want to either do more than one or you want to do another one, you can, for example, go through discovery. In discovery, the area super big again. So this is only, I want to repeat that, only one practice that we're trying to assess in the multiple practice we have in discovery. And we have different concepts for this practice, which in particular is discovery planning and tracking. So again, I will not go through everything. You can go on your own, but the concept is, does the team have some sort of discovery planning? Again, this can be a ceremony, some sort of meeting, or part of a weekly ritual. Do we have a discovery board and we will track these activities? The execution of the discovery steps is well defined, having hypotheses, success criteria. Are we tracking the results of those experiments? What's the speed that we are having to run these experiments, or the cadence? And are we sharing the results across the company or with the relevant groups? And finally, to give you a third option, if you want to choose this one, in the direction area, I choose the practice of planning. Again, this can resonate as roadmaps to some of you, but since roadmap is a very tricky word because it can be used at very different concepts, the intention is to assess the midterm planning. So do we have an outcome-oriented strategic plan which spans, kind of midterm in your plans? So again, the question would be, do we have strategic drivers that are broken down into problems that we want to solve or opportunities that are sequenced over time? Again, this is the type of artifact we are looking for, and we can find evidence that this exists or not. Do we have the right granularity and confidence on the items that are on the plan, which again is something that we will tie to some discovery practices and things like that. Do we have completeness on this plan? Is kind of covering the different efforts that the team may incur, and is the plan clear enough? Again, I don't want to go through all of it, but you can see the guiding questions and the guiding concepts and the evidence you can collect for each of them. So what shall you do to complete this step? Copy the spreadsheet, complete it for your team, and share it with the group on the Slack channel or as a personal DM if you prefer. And you will find, again, the link below to the Slack if you are not there yet. You can also ask any question you may find on Slack. Also, feel free to tweak any of the questions, any of the concepts, or even include another area for assessment that is not in this little example. Again, we as Product Direction have over 100 areas, so we know that there is much more to analyze. That's it. Good luck and see you tomorrow for day 2.